Hello. Here we go again.
Back again.
This is more about Cameron this time than it is about me. So, because I can rabbit, I can talk. So, yeah. So, our last one we've decided to talk about like buys and also like bump and dad time. So yeah, I'll kind of shut up and just filter in if I'm needed.
No, I think because I think when we first kind of got pregnant and you were listening to people of what they thought was a necessity to buy
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
the brands to buy, and we just felt like some of the things were very unnecessary and also very costly as well. Like again, we're quite fortunate in a way that we both have good jobs and we're able to buy things that are a bit pricier. But I think obviously there's no reason why you have to buy the best of the best.
No, like you can get things in Argos that are there's still safety precautions on them. They still have to be vetted before they go out.
I think obviously you still need to be careful what you buy. I mean, we obviously decided to go for Cybex for our car seat and also a pram. The kit we got, actually, we have his car seat and base, which does him up until he's 9 months. His car seat base then stays, and we can then get another car seat fitting that fits in for him to do up until he's 3, and then you can get another car seat that goes onto the same base again, which does him up till he's basically able to sit in the seat himself with the seat belt.
Just kind of money saver.
The car seat, the first section of the car seat and the actual pram set that we got all together, we had the car seat clipped straight into the pram base. We then have his actual kind of more buggy style seat which clips into the same base
For when he's older.
for when he's older.
Just things that we tried to combine. And then we've also got cot.
Yeah, we got the cot that we got as well. That's again that when we've looked at cots, obviously, again it's your own personal preference, but we bought a cot that turns from a cot that can be used for tiny babies up to then going into toddler time, and then all the way up till they're actually probably near enough in double figures because it turns into a bed. You just have to dismantle it and rebuild it in a different configuration. And I think, yes, probably things like that were maybe a wee bit more expensive at first.
It feels like a cost at the time.
But at the same time,
but it's going to benefit.
You're not going to have to go through having a tiny small cot for your wee baby to then buy another cot that's slightly bigger to suit a toddler, to then go and buy a bed. You have that all in one go. Same with the car seat and pram, with it all being the same company and all the same make. It just made everything easier for us.
You just go with the model number. Like they're quite good. If you don't have storage as well, they keep it at the warehouse for you, and then you just collect it when you need it.
I think as well, like obviously, you've got your big brands like Silver Cross and things that they are nice.
They are. They're beautiful.
But they're not always practical.
But no. Nah.
That's our opinion. I know people out there probably love Silver Cross stuff, and again, that's their choice. I'd never criticise somebody for buying something that's their choice, because again, Cybex was our choice for pram and car seat, but we just felt like you get so much more value for money with the Cybex stuff.
because when we went to the pram centre, we had no clue what the hell.
No.
So we just think, pram. But once she explained it about the car seat and the pram and everything, I had to look at camera and I was like, what did she just say? I was like, I am so confused. But then she did break it all down, and it was nice as well to show you how to put things down, put things together.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time with you.
Yeah, you kind of got one-on-one care in a sense rather than just feeling like it was just like a
Could needs
supermarket.
one-on-one care.
But I think as well, like again, our like for the wee man's nursery and things like that, we bought mainly Tutti Bambini things.
Yeah.
Which again is a make that
Very
we
solid as
prefer,
well.
and yeah, they seem to build good quality. Again, it might not be the cheapest of the cheap, and it's not the dearest of the dearest stuff either. It was within our obviously financial budget, and obviously the wee man's nursery, it can be a costly thing to make a nursery the way you want it.
Yeah. I mean,
we were kind of buying things here and there when every time we got paid, rather than kind of having a big huge outcost in one go.
Yeah. I mean, I know they say, like, obviously don't buy things like too early and things like that. Yeah. I mean, we never set things up and
No,
things like that either.
We kind of bought everything. I mean, obviously, I know there's a huge superstition to prams and things. I mean, our pram's still sitting at Granny's just now.
So that we don't have it in the house.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, we bought everything kind of maybe around about the 20-week mark.
Yeah.
We started buying things, and obviously we did what everyone kind of does and bought wee bits of clothing and that. It just makes it feel like you are buying something. It's obviously it's a nice time for everyone to buy a wee kind of wee onesie here and a wee bib here and like hats and mitts and all these three things that it just gives you that wee boost to think, oh, we're going to have a wee person that's going to be in that soon. But I think obviously people, depending on what your support network you've got around you, I mean, you could have people buying you endless amounts of clothes, and I mean, babies are only small for so long. Like, you could end up with them not wearing some of it, depending on what people buy you. I think we kind of went to the top end of the scale and started buying 18 months and 12 months and...
Mum maybe accidentally bought 2 to 3 years by mistake.
Yeah.
Thought it was 2 to 3 months, but we worked our way down, like, so that we're not buying loads of wee. I know it's very cute. They are very cute, but loads of newborn stuff. Because we found even, like when we were gifted things, we thought, my God, he's not even going to be that size at Christmas. We're never going to use that.
Yeah.
So we had gave it away for Ukraine. We gave it to the charity shop for them. So something for other people. And as I said before, spoke about the Scotland baby box already, but it's such a nice thing, people giving them away as well, like to people who like obviously really need them.
I think the biggest thing with that as well, obviously with the cost of nursery things and that, like, I mean the baby box alone, forgetting everything that's in it, but the fact that the baby box can also potentially be a bed for them for like a good few months.
Yeah,
it's an amazing thing.
It's massive.
And the stuff you get in it's fantastic.
We couldn't get through our door. We actually wondered what on earth was left at our door. Cameron said to me, "What have you been buying?" And I was like, "Nothing. I actually haven't bought anything because I was actually being very good." And then we're like, "My God, like that's huge," and things that you don't like think of as well that are in it.
Very useful.
Yeah, that you're like, oh, that would be quite handy. So yeah, that's a good bit on the buys. But obviously, in time we'll actually let you know, because obviously we've bought like a few wee, don't take this extreme, but gadgets and stuff like that, and we'll tell you obviously
Yeah, whether
what
they're actually good or
any
not.
good or not. We'll tell you
Uh,
what we've used.
I think as well, even things like bottles and things. Obviously, a lot of people rave about Tommy Tippy and things like that, but there is others out there. I mean,
Yeah.
we've bought quite a lot of mam stuff.
Mhm.
The same with nappies.
It does not matter. It doesn't matter. You're not going to know until that child's here. What nappies is going to go well,
No.
what milk's going to go well, what
mean,
bottles.
Nappies as well. Obviously, you have Pampers and Huggies and all these kind of things, but we mainly bought Amazon's own. Is it Mama Bear?
We got recommended to try that, and do you know what? Like, obviously we don't have the child yet, but good value for money.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that goes well.
Yeah, and I think we got enough wipes to do us for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And they only cost, I think for the box that we got with, God knows how many packets of wipes in it, I think it was only about maybe £20 or something.
Which is really good, because if you think about it, when you're going to the supermarket all the time and picking it up, it's £2, £3, £4 here and there. You're really spending all the time.
I think as well, obviously, milk too.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there is big brands out there, yeah, SMAs and
I like how he looks at me.
Aptamil, is it?
Cow and Gate as well.
I mean, there is them, but there's also other brands that you don't really hear about.
Yeah, there's stuff in the background. They've all got to be tasted.
Yeah.
They've all got to. It's not going to matter. Your child is going to tell you whether they like that or not, and you might need to just start again. So there's no point in buying milk and stuff in bulk as such until you've got going, because you just don't know. Like, people will say, oh, this one's the best and that one's the best, and I had all my kids on that, but at the end of the day you could go and do that and your child, and I'll use Cow and Gate, like, might not take to that. Like, it just might not go well, and then you've got to put all that in the bin, or maybe somebody could use it, maybe they could, but you just feel like we try not to waste, haven't we? We've tried to, and that's another thing, actually, come to think of it, we had said we've been putting money away, because we put a wee savings account as well, so when he watches this, the money's ours.
No, you don't actually have a savings account. Don't hear about it till you're 18.
So yeah, just to have like a wee something, like, for whatever reason, like, because I had and yourself, so like we thought it's a good.
Yeah, I mean, I never had a savings account, like, but again, my mum and dad were very good that like throughout my years I always get things bought for me, and obviously I played football for years, so I always get new pairs of football boots and things like that, which weren't cheap, so I never really expected anything like that, for that reason. But again, that was I always got good, like, birthday and Christmas presents, and again, as I say, football, did it for 14 years. Mum and dad were paying that every week, and dad was touring the country with me playing football, so it was a lot of money they put out for me to do that. And I think obviously we spoke about just setting up a savings account for me, man, and we went round all the banks to see. I mean, that's another thing, if you are thinking of setting up a savings account, check all the banks. I mean, obviously I bank with TSB, Stephanie banks with RBS, but we found the TSB gave a better interest rate, which obviously at the moment the interest rate's kind of not really. I think it's only just kind of went up to 1% now, so it might not be great now, but maybe in 5-10 years the interest rate might shoot up, and you never know, the savings account could be worth double the money by the time you get to the end of it.
What way?
And obviously it depends on how much you are financially able to put into.
Yeah, don't. That's one thing we would say. Like, don't put yourself out. Like, do it on what you won't feel that you would miss. Because then you're going to be wanting to be dip into accounts that you possibly maybe can't. But it's good, as we said. Like, I was 20 odd before I started sharing my car, so having that wee bit of money there to get a car or put towards a house or whatever, or uni or whatever.
Just in general, it could be anything.
It's just something to kind of have, isn't it?
Get them started in life, I suppose. It's a costly. Fortunately, life's very costly now, and I mean, where we stay, it's houses are
a bit extreme.
very, very extremely priced, and probably about 20 or 30% more than some other areas. And they usually go for 20 to £30,000 more than they're valued at. So
you would be, and not trying to put a dampener on this, but you would be paying it till you were in the ground.
But I think as well,
so,
obviously, it's a good start that maybe if they decide to go to uni or college, that they might end up coming out of uni or college with no debt either. Give them a chance to get started in life rather than having to pay student loans and things like that. Yeah,
because as I said, I used to do childcare and I'm still paying mine. So, yeah, I mean, it's all grand that it's free in our country to a degree, but obviously once you start earning a certain amount and stuff, you've got to pay that back. Which is fine, fair enough, but yeah, so I think that's our buys.
I think so.
Idea, but so the next one that I'm told of to talk Kitty, that Cameron's going to talk about is his time with like Bump, because obviously you felt kind of stuck at the beginning because I've got like the baby's inside me, funnily enough. So I've got all the I can touch and not be bothered and chat and go to like classes and things, and Cameron felt kind of, I don't know, I can't speak for you.
Yeah, I think it just sometimes felt like I was not useless, but I just couldn't interact with the wee. Obviously, it's hard to interact with the wee one when he's inside the bed, like inside the womb. That's understandable, but even simple things like that, as Stephanie said, she didn't really like me touching her belly at first, obviously, and it took a wee while for her to kind of, first of all, with Stephanie having an anterior placenta.
Anterior placenta. Yes.
So the placenta's on the front of the womb. We were kind of expecting not to feel a lot, kicks and movements, but he kind of shocked us with how much that he could actually kick. I think he's going to be quite a good footballer or boxer or something. And
because I don't think I was very believed until someone had a good feel and could see what I put up with when I'm trying to sleep, you know.
I think wee things like, obviously, when I could see his feet kind of pressing against Stephanie's belly and things like that, I would maybe like kind of.
Oh God, it's real.
Just kind of like tap his feet, and he would move his feet and then maybe put it back, and then tap his foot again. He'd maybe put it back again, or like the other day I was tapping his wee foot here, and then the next minute he would knock round the other side and tap that side, then he'd come back to the other side, and I think it might just be me. I might just be playing, hoping to myself that he's playing games with us, but I think it's just nice to interact with him. I think the other big thing as well for me was, obviously I kind of struggle reading quite a lot. Pretty sure I'm dyslexic as well, and the reading, and I know probably people will be thinking that's pathetic, can't read a child's book. But
Well,
the
no,
end
it's not.
at the end of the day, I'm sitting at night trying to read to
To an
to an
unborn
unborn
child,
child.
yeah.
And I don't know how many stories I've read so far. But
I left that more so. Obviously, yes, I'm dyslexic, but I'm definitely the better dyslexic. So I left that more so to Cameron, so that Cameron had something to do. Like you had a form of interaction, because it's hard for guys, and as we've said before, you do feel like a bit of a donkey sometimes, going, "Good morning," like and speaking to your bump or like whatever, but as I've said, when he comes out, he's going to be able to differ who's
voice,
talking,
yeah.
or maybe a song that you've played, or like a story,
Or Hollyoaks at 7 o'clock.
yeah, Hollyoaks is very important. That's my time. Okay, that's my time. But yeah, it's been good for you.
Yeah, it's been good for me to read, and as I say, I don't know how many stories I've read them so far and how many books I've bought, but it's
Nice to relive too, like
yeah,
go through them and read like what we used to read as well.
yeah. I think the person who wrote the Gruffaloes probably paid quite a lot of her mortgage off, but I think it's good just to interact with the wee one. Like again, you may feel like you're reading to nothing, or that you're just reading to yourself. Some of the stories are quite good. I found them quite interesting, apart from when they repeat themselves over and over again. But I think it's just interesting to see, because I know that there has been, with obviously with mum being in the profession she was in before, being the manager of a nursery and being highly involved with Education Scotland. I think there has been studies conducted that kids who have had books read to them while in the womb, that when you read that story to them again, they do actually remember it, as if a wee kind of thing lights up in them, as if I've heard this before.
I think as well, like me and Cameron have quite good like laugh, quite good crack, but I think at times like that, being serious with your partner rather than actually laughing at them, or like, I mean, I just kind of sit there and just let them do, because I don't think that that's an appropriate thing to do, like sit and laugh at somebody when they've not got as much advantage as you to interact and do stuff. You're told like dad and bump like interact, but if we didn't kind of start reading the stories or listening to music or whatever, would we have known to kind of like get you reading to the bump? Would we like things, extra things to try and like pull in to make that bond as well, like make it kind of work? Because I mean, it must be, they're saying about when obviously the child's born, and like dad wants to have that as well, like he doesn't want to kind of feel like, oh well, he won't really know me, like, you know, like just, it's kind of good that you've got that.
Yeah, it's nice to feel like you have a bond with your child as well. Obviously mum has the bond of she's growing baby inside her, but for you to feel like you have something to do, even if it is reading a few paragraphs of a child's book a night, or even just every so often reading a book to the wee one, sitting with mum and mum's having a cup of tea or something, and you're reading to them or reading to them in bed, just something rather than just, oh, I'll see you in 9 months time.
Yeah.
I think it might, I mean, that might just be my opinion, and there may be dads out there who think that I'm talking rubbish, but I think there probably will be dads out there as well who felt the same as me, that they felt like what did I do? Did I just...
Yeah.
Because obviously I know Stephanie said it in the past, like, and obviously with me being away a lot working, obviously Stephanie has herself and bump to worry about, but Dad has mum and bump to worry about, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because you think that guys don't really. I'm not saying every man's the same, but you think that they don't have anything to think about as such, but they do.
I think as well it's hard. It was hard for me quite a few occasions where I was in Shetland,
You feel like you
Five.
can't do it.
600 miles away from home, and Stephanie's at home upset because she's just been told something
Mm-hmm.
by the midwives or by someone else, and you feel like, well, what can I do over the phone to help?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, what can I do bar from jumping on a plane and coming home?
But then you gotta work.
But yeah, that's the important thing as well. Again, I mean, the company I work for, I'm very fortunate that they are a family-run company. Although they're obviously getting bigger and things, they are a family-run company, and they do totally understand how
Yeah, you're
situations happen, and they said they would always get me home regardless of what the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you just need to obviously.
Be open.
Yeah, I think obviously a lot of mums and dads' communication's not strong all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think mum obviously has to communicate her feelings, and
I
dad,
could do that.
dad has to communicate his feelings too. If he's feeling a bit like just a third wheel, then obviously say that to a partner and say to her, look, I want to do something, what can I do? I mean, obviously, as Stephanie said before, we didn't really have many classes that I could go to, but there is classes out there what Dad can go to,
You can do
even
now,
afterwards.
Yeah. Get baby massage and all that as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot for Dad to do when baby's out too. Like, Dad can be really involved. Obviously, in Scotland and things like that, we've got book bug sessions and things like that you may think, what's that?
I don't
Like,
want to do
I don't want to do that, but somebody that's dressed as book bug for numerous occasions for my mother and her in her nursery, I think it's a great thing, and I think that half hour out your day to sit and hear a story, even if the wee one's only a couple months old, it's still something for Dad and baby to do.
We used to, when I was a child, I used to love it. I used to run for my bath so that I could get to my hair brushed and get to my story. Like, that was one of my things.
Yeah, I think the whole kind of situation is obviously, and again, as Stephanie said, that there's a lot of dads out there who maybe don't want to be as involved, or maybe just don't know how to get involved.
Yeah, it's quite, yeah.
And I think obviously that's where mum comes in, and mum can help Dad, but
The amount of things I've got him to do over the 9 months.
but I think you've just got to speak and work as a team. You both want the same thing. You both want, like during pregnancy, you both want
healthy.
Baby here, and you want all of you to be happy. Yes, mum's hormones go up and down, and our moods can maybe change, but
Me, moody?
you've been lucky. You've not been too moody.
No.
But there is women out there who go through severe mood swings during pregnancy. That is one of the, what would you say, symptom, side effect? I don't know.
That's part and parcel.
It's part of it. Mum's body's full of raging hormones, and that's it. But I think guys just have to support that. They may have to go and take a wee walk and cool off before you come back and talk about it. But
yeah, because you could be screaming at absolutely everything and
Yeah.
nothing